Welcome back. In this video, we'll be talking about the power of presence and of mindfulness and why I think that they are so important. Well, because you see, most of the time we are lost in thought. We're not present. We always have this constant chatter going on inside of us. We're always thinking, talking to ourselves. You see, because of this, we're never focused at the task at hand. We're not focused on what's in front of us, but our attention is put on this constant chatter of thinking about, oh, what should I do next? What about this? What about that? Blah, 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 all this chatter going on inside of us. And you see, there's a study called A Wandering Mind is an Unhappy Mind, where they found out that we are the unhappiest when we are doing something and thinking about completely something else, when our mind is wondering about something else, and we are the happiest when we are completely absorbed in a task and our mind is not wandering but is fully focused on the thing that we are doing. I mean, let me just ask you a question. Are you present right now? Or is your mind wandering somewhere else? Are you checking the comments, you see, checking the suggested videos, thinking about something else, thinking about watching another video, thinking about what is the guy talking about, talking to yourself? Or are you just listening to this video? You see, it's very rare that we're truly present, that we lose ourselves in this moment. But you see, interestingly, it is exactly in those moments when we lose ourselves, when we enter this state of flow and time disappears, when we forget ourselves. It's exactly in these moments that we feel the most fulfilled, that we enjoy the most. I mean, for example, let me just tell you my story. A couple of days ago, I went to climbing, you see, the indoors climbing, and it was a great session that I had. It was amazing. And you see, one of the reasons why I think that it was so great is because I was completely absorbed in the climbing. Like, I remember that I was just climbing and not thinking anything. Like, I wasn't aware of course I was thinking, but I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of myself. I was totally focused and lost in the climbing. I was, getting up on the wall and everything, talking with other people, socializing. It was such a great thing. And after it, did I only realize that, hold on, throughout almost that whole session, I was in this flow state, I was not thinking about, oh, what should I do next, what about this, thinking about the future or the past. I was completely there in the present. And because of that, I had a great time. But you see, the thing is that, as I said, most of the times we're lost in thought and we're not fully living this present moment right now. And the very interesting thing that we do almost all the time is that instead of experiencing what we are experiencing fully right now and experiencing it as it is, we're listening to a commentary about that experience. I mean, for example, let's say that you're watching the sunrise or the sunset, doesn't matter. And, instead of just watching it and just enjoying it fully, growing with this present moment, living that experience, instead of truly seeing the beauty of that sunrise and just experiencing it, we're thinking to ourselves, what a beautiful sunrise. You see, how beautiful this is. Let me just take a picture about it. Or we start thinking about something else. Start thinking about this. Oh, and we start thinking, oh, how beautiful that cloud is. We have this commentary of that experience in our minds. All these thoughts coming and going. Instead of just experiencing the beauty. Instead of experiencing the beauty, we're commentating about that beauty. Instead of just living that experience, we're commentating about that experience. You see, also, so often, because we're not present, because we're talking to ourselves, because we're lost in thought, our experience of this moment is shallow. It's shallow, really. We don't realize, we don't notice, we're not aware of all the subtle details, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the touch, the taste. We don't notice the subtle details in everyday, simple living, simple experience. We don't notice it because we're lost in thought. But you see, every moment can be amazing. Every moment can fill you with this sense of awe, and you can lose yourself in every moment. But you just got to be right here, right now. I mean, you see, when we're not present, it's like in a video game, we turn down the quality or the resolution, the quality of the texture to low. And you see, when we're present, when we just here right now, it's like we turn it to ultra high or something like that. And you see, you have probably experienced the state of flow, this selflessness that I was talking about, where you just completely lose track of yourself, your ego, and you're just completely there in the moment. You have probably had those kind of moments, maybe even today or this week. But you see, most of the time, we are lost in thought. I would say that 90% or even more of the time, we're always thinking to ourselves. We always have this chatterbox in our mind, always making up stories of things that is happening or things that are happening around us. And you see, most of the time, we are not even aware that we're doing this. We're so lost in thought that we're not even aware that we're lost in thought. I mean, right now, you might be lost in thought. Right now, you might be thinking to yourself, should I go to the next video? What is this guy doing? Blah, blah, blah. So, having this chatterbox, thoughts coming and going and coming and going. And you see, to show you just how much our minds get distracted and how much we're actually thinking and getting lost in thought, I like to do this experiment with you right now. And this is how it will go. We're going to try to put our attention to one thing and one thing only for 30 seconds. So it might be, focusing on what you see and only focusing on that for 30 seconds. Or only putting your attention to some kind of sound or smell or touch or whatever, your breath, whatever. And only putting your attention to that single thing for 30 seconds only and not getting distracted, not getting lost in thought. And I guarantee you that you won't be able to do it. I guarantee you. So let's try doing this experiment, you see. Let's do it with sight. Pick out any kind of object around your room and just look at that for 30 seconds and do not get distracted. I don't have a timer for me, but I just counted in my head or guessed the 30 seconds, you see. So I have my object, it's a flower. So let's try doing this. Do not only put your attention to that object and do not get distracted, do not get lost in thought. So let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Now focus on that thing for 30 seconds. I mean, probably 30 seconds have already passed, but you see, it's so interesting. Like, 5 seconds in, I already realized that I was thinking about something. Like, I was thinking about something like, what was I thinking about? I was thinking about something like not thinking. I was thinking about not thinking or something like that. And I was thinking about, what would you guys would say? How do I look on camera and you see? I was thinking about you seeing me from this angle. I was thinking about something like that. See, it's almost impossible. I would guess that probably 99% of the people would not be able to do this challenge, this experiment. Even if their life depended on this. Even if they couldn't do this, they would die. 99% of the people wouldn't be able to do this thing. And you see, if you might be thinking, oh, but you see, I've done it. I just focused on that thing and I didn't get any thought. If you say that, if you think that, oh, I'm 100% sure I did it, you see, I didn't get lost in thought. I'm 100% sure that you were so lost in thought that you didn't even realize that you were lost in thought. 100% sure, because you see, this is what people realize in meditation. You see, maybe someone starts meditating, just following his breath, focusing on his breath, something like that. And you see, he sits down and maybe like a minute of meditating. He realizes that, hold up, I got lost in thought. Let's get back to breathing. And you see, the more and more you meditate, the faster and faster you realize just how distractible your mind is. So you see, after like meditating for more, after having some experience in meditation, you sit down and you realize that after 5 or 10 seconds, you already have a thought. A thought arises. So you see, this is what you realize in meditation. You become more aware just how distractible you are. Because right now, you might not even be aware of just how lost you might be in thought. Just how easily your mind can get distracted. And you see, a lot of our suffering actually comes from us being lost in thought and thinking all the time and telling stories to ourselves. Because we see, we're worrying about the future, we're ruminating over the past, or we're thinking about all sorts of things. Oh, I have to do this thing, or what did this guy say? Oh, this guy said this, well, this happened, that happened. We suffer so much in our imagination. You see, we're asking to ourselves, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh, what if that? We are suffering because of something that doesn't even exist. We're worrying about the future. We're suffering in our own imagination. And you see, most of the time, what is happening right now everything is okay. Right now, everything is just okay. But still, we're suffering, we're making ourselves suffer in our own imagination because of our thoughts. Because we're worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. Something that's not even real. Because you see, it's completely useless. If you can do something about it right now, then do it. If not, worrying about it, complaining about it, being anxious about it, it's completely useless. A lot of the times, the stories that we tell ourselves, our perception of things, is just fake. It's just not true. We suffer so much because of the way that we interpret the things around us. For example, your friend walks past you and he didn't wave at you. He didn't say hi to you. And you said hi, he didn't notice you. And then you start thinking to yourself, oh man, he doesn't like me, he didn't notice me, all that stuff. But maybe he just didn't notice you. Maybe he just didn't even realize that you were there. He was just thinking, he was also lost in thought and thinking about something else. And there you are, thinking to yourself, oh man, he doesn't like me anymore, what a jerk. Are you starting to see how the stories that you're telling to yourself, how much we can suffer because of them? And most of the time they are biased and they are a lot of the times not true. And you see, what we also got to realize is that we only have this moment right now. There is no past, there is no future. They don't exist. They are abstractions. They only exist in our thoughts. Because you see, you can't be conscious of the past, you can't be conscious of the future. There is only this moment right now. That is the only real thing that we have. The past and the future doesn't exist. But you see, so often we are wishing for a better moment. We are wishing, oh, I wish that this was over. I wish that I wasn't feeling this bad. We're wishing for a better moment, but we don't realize that we cannot escape this moment. This is the only thing that we have and will ever have, is this moment right now. Nothing else is real. I mean, the past and the future doesn't exist. They are only abstractions. And you see, thoughts about the future and thoughts about the past, they are also in the present. You see, there is only this moment. Who you were yesterday is not you. Who you were, the guy that clicked on this video, is not the guy right here, right now. You see, you don't have to be the person that you were 5 minutes ago. The past is not you. The past you is not you. The only real you is the you right now. And you see, presence can help in every area of life. In creative disciplines, in work, in relationships, in talking with other people. Presence is so important, just listening and really being there when you're with your partner and things like that. Not on your phone, checking messages or thinking about something else. One of the rudest things that you could do, someone's talking to you and you're thinking about something else or on your phone. Presence. It also happens in sports and exercise, everything. So this is really what I wanted to talk about and tell you today in this video. And also remind myself to practice presence and to practice mindfulness. And now you might be asking, okay, but how do I really practice presence and how do I practice mindfulness? Well, you see, the simple way, how I would recommend it is just to, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, slow down. Slow down and pay attention to everything around you. Pay attention, like really pay attention to what you're seeing, to what you're hearing, to what you're smelling, to your touch, every sense that you have, what you're tasting, when you're eating food. Really bring your attention completely to the here and now. Just be here right now. And another thing that can help is to stop identifying with your thoughts. Because you see, there are also a lot of problems that come out of this. See, you are not your thoughts. Most of the thoughts, for example, are not even true. But you are not your thoughts. They just arise spontaneously. And you see, I also heard this a lot of places I heard this. I still don't understand it quite well. But you see, you're not even the thinker behind those thoughts. You see, there is no thinker of thoughts. There is no, thought and then the one who thinks. There is no experience and experiencer. There is just the process of thinking, and that's it. And you see, the other interesting thing is that we don't really have that much control over our thoughts. You see, of course, you can decide to think about an apple right now and actually think about an apple. But you see, why did you do that? Like, how did you think about that? You see, you didn't first think about thinking about an apple. You just decided. It almost like came out of nowhere. You just thought of an apple. And it's just the same with deciding. You didn't decide to think about an apple. Then, of course, you didn't decide to think about an apple. No, you just, out of nowhere, decided to think about an apple. You see, there is this great mystery behind our decision making and behind our thinking and behind our whole being, really. There's this great mystery because, like, how do you do this? How do you think? Why did you choose that? Just taking the very simple example of, you choosing between tea or coffee. And you see, maybe you heard on some Andrew Huber's podcast that you see, too much coffee is not that great, especially after these hours, blah blah blah, or and you're thinking about all these things, the scenarios, but there will come a point where you just suddenly decide, book, like that, and you just decide, okay, I'm gonna have coffee. Like, how did you do that? Based on what? Why did you do that? When did you really decide? When was that moment? We don't know. It's almost like our decisions, and they just arise spontaneously. It's very interesting, you see. There is this great mystery behind our thoughts and our decisions and our decision making and our whole being itself. Because you see, how do you pump your blood? How do you circulate your blood? How do you breathe? How do you move your hand? How do you work your nervous system? How do you secrete the hormones in your body? You don't know, but yet still you do them. Isn't that interesting? There is this great mystery behind our whole being. I find this so interesting, you see. Well, now we got a little bit off of track, but as we said, don't identify yourself with your thoughts, because you are not your thoughts. The thoughts just arise spontaneously. You can also think of it like a sense organ. Your thoughts as a sense organ. And thinking that you are your thoughts is just as the same as if you thought that you are seeing an orange and that you are the orange. So you see, you are not your thoughts, and there is no thinker behind those thoughts. You see, there is no experience and then experiencer. We have this idea that there is the experience outside of us and that we are having the experience as the experiencer, but there is no difference. You are what you experience. And you see, another thing that you could ask yourself and really feel into when you're right here, right now, when you're practicing presence and mindfulness, is asking yourself, where does my attention come from? Where does my conscious attention come from? Where is it? Where does it come from? It's very interesting because you can't really pinpoint it. So you can also try doing that. And another thing that can help you to bring you into this present moment and to make you more mindful is taking deep breaths. This is probably one of like the cheat codes to being more mindful, is to just take deep breaths. And how you do that is by taking deep breaths into your lower belly. Doing it like this. Into your lower belly, just fully letting it go. Into your lower belly and then going up, into your chest. Lower belly and then chest. Taking deep breaths, couple of deep breaths, can be very helpful. Now, of course, another thing that can help is meditation. Of course, it helps with mindfulness. And I think another key thing that could help you to bring you into this moment is gratitude. Because I notice that whenever I'm grateful, I'm really here in this moment. And also gratitude helps me personally to get back into this present moment. So I really recommend you to practice presence and mindfulness, because it can change everything in your life. It can change the way that you experience life. It can change your reality. Because just think about having just a simple walk, going from A to B. If you're lost in thought and just going like this, I'm going to do this, and you're thinking to yourself all the time, you won't notice all the beauty around you and all the subtle things and everything. Your experience of life will be shallow. But if you're present, it's like you open your eyes and you're going like this, you're noticing, you're wandering in nature, you have this sense of wonder. And what else do you want other than this sense of wonder in life? So thank you for watching this. Thank you. Hopefully, if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. Very interested to hear your thoughts. And if you have any questions, if you're interested, I'm doing free one-on-one calls. You can send me an email and we'll arrange a video call. You can ask me anything. We can have a chat. Email in the description if you're interested. So thank you for watching this video. Hopefully, it was valuable to you. And thank you for being here. All the love towards you. And have a great day and goodbye.